I can't go back to you, my friend. Don't even ask, don't play pretend.
Dorothea sat at the kitchen table, absently stirring her coffee as she watched Vidal across the room. His once familiar presence felt like a stranger in her own home. The tension between them was palpable, a silent barrier that had grown thicker with each passing day. As she traced the rim of her mug with her finger, Dorothea's mind drifted back to the early days of their marriage, when laughter filled the air and love seemed to overflow. But now those memories felt like distant echoes, drowned out by the deafening silence that had settled between them. "Is everything okay, Dora?" Vidal's voice broke through her thoughts, his concerned tone tinged with frustration. He had noticed her distant demeanor, but their attempts at communication always seemed to end in disappointment. Dorothea forced a smile, masking the turmoil brewing beneath the surface. "I'm fine, just lost in thought," she replied, her words lacking the warmth they once held. Their conversation dwindled into awkward silence, a familiar refrain in their strained relationship. Dorothea couldn't remember the last time they had shared a meaningful conversation, their words reduced to mundane pleasantries exchanged out of obligation rather than genuine connection. As Vidal retreated to his makeshift home office, Dorothea's heart sank with the weight of unspoken words and unresolved issues. She longed for the days when they had been partners in every sense of the word, their bond unbreakable in the face of any challenge. But now, as she watched Vidal disappear behind closed doors, Dorothea couldn't shake the feeling that something fundamental had shifted between them. The cracks in their marriage had grown wider with each passing day, threatening to swallow them whole if they didn't confront the truth lurking beneath the surface. With a heavy sigh, Dorothea pushed back her chair and rose from the table, steeling herself for the difficult conversations that lay ahead. She knew that ignoring the problems plaguing their marriage would only lead to further heartache, but facing them head-on felt like stepping into the unknown abyss. As she made her way towards Vidal's office, Dorothea knew that their marriage hung in the balance, teetering on the edge of collapse. But she refused to let their love slip through her fingers without a fight, determined to mend the cracks before it was too late. Dorothea's days began to blur together, each one tinged with a sense of unease as she searched for answers to the questions that plagued her mind. The subtle signs of trouble in her marriage grew more pronounced with each passing moment, a silent symphony of doubts and suspicions that echoed in the depths of her soul. One evening, as she folded laundry in their bedroom, Dorothea caught a faint whiff of a scent that was foreign to her. It hung in the air like a ghost, haunting her senses with its unfamiliarity. She wrinkled her nose in confusion, her brows furrowing as she tried to place the elusive aroma. "Is everything all right, Dora?" Vidal's voice broke through the silence, his concerned gaze meeting hers as he entered the room. His presence only served to heighten Dorothea's unease, the weight of her suspicions bearing down on her with renewed intensity. I'm fine," she stammered, her voice betraying her inner turmoil. Just thought I smelled something strange." Vidal's brow furrowed in confusion, but he didn't press the issue, choosing instead to change the subject as he helped her fold the laundry. But Dorothea couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss, the scent lingering in the air like a silent accusation. As the days passed, Dorothea found herself growing increasingly vigilant, her senses on high alert for any signs of trouble. She noticed subtle changes in Vidal's behavior, from his sudden preoccupation with his phone to his frequent late nights at the office. One evening, as she scrolled through her social media feed, Dorothea stumbled upon a photo that stopped her in her tracks. It was a snapshot of Vidal at a party, his arm draped around a woman she didn't recognize. The sight sent a jolt of fear coursing through her veins, her heart pounding in her chest as she struggled to make sense of what she was seeing. Vidal. Dorothea's voice trembled as she confronted him about the photo, her hands shaking with fear and uncertainty. Vidal's expression faltered for a moment, his eyes darting away as he searched for an explanation. But the silence that followed spoke volumes, the truth hanging heavy in the air between them. "I can explain," he began, his voice strained with guilt. But Dorothea knew that no explanation could erase the betrayal she felt, the cracks in their marriage widening with each passing moment. As she retreated to the solitude of their bedroom, Dorothea couldn't help but wonder how they had reached this point, their once solid foundation crumbling beneath the weight of lies and deceit. But amidst the chaos of her crumbling marriage, one thing became painfully clear. The signs of trouble had been there all along, silent whispers of warning that she had chosen to ignore until it was too late. The tension between Dorothea and Vidal had reached its breaking point, the weight of their unspoken truths hanging heavy in the air between them. As they sat across from each other in their dimly lit living room, the silence was deafening, each passing moment punctuated by the unspoken accusation that hovered on Dorothea's lips. "Dora, we need to talk." Vidal's voice broke through the silence, his tone tinged with a sense of urgency that mirrored Dorothea's own turmoil. Dorothea's heart clenched at his words, her stomach churning with a mixture of fear and anger. She knew that this conversation would irrevocably alter the course of their marriage, but she couldn't continue to live in denial, ignoring the truth that lay hidden beneath the surface. With a deep breath, Dorothea met Vidal's gaze, her eyes flashing with determination as she prepared to confront him about her suspicions. "I know about her, Vidal." Dorothea's voice was steady, her words laced with a quiet resolve. "I know about the other woman." Vidal's expression faltered for a moment, his eyes widening in shock as he struggled to find the right words to say. But the truth hung heavy in the air between them, a silent admission of his betrayal that Dorothea could no longer ignore. I can explain," Vidal began, his voice strained with guilt as he reached out to touch her hand. But Dorothea pulled away, her heart hardened against the pain of his deception. "There's nothing left to say." Dorothea's voice was a whisper, the weight of her words echoing in the empty space between them. "I can't do this anymore, Vidal. I can't pretend like everything is okay when it's not." Tears welled in Dorothea's eyes as she spoke, her voice trembling with the raw emotion that threatened to consume her. She had spent so long burying her fears and doubts, clinging to the hope that their love could weather any storm. But now, faced with the harsh reality of Vidal's infidelity, she knew that their marriage was beyond repair. As Vidal watched her with a mixture of regret and resignation, Dorothea knew that this was the moment of reckoning she had been dreading. Their marriage hung in the balance, teetering on the edge of collapse as they confronted the painful truth that had been lurking in the shadows all along. In the aftermath of their confrontation, Dorothea found herself grappling with a whirlwind of emotions. Anger, betrayal, and hurt simmered beneath the surface as she struggled to come to terms with the shattered remnants of her marriage. But amidst the chaos of her crumbling world, a spark of defiance flickered to life within her, a determination to take back control of her own destiny. Sitting alone in their darkened living room, Dorothea pored over her thoughts, her mind racing with the possibilities of what could come next. She knew that she couldn't simply sit back and accept defeat, allowing Vidal's betrayal to go unpunished. No, she needed to take action to reclaim her power in the face of adversity. With a steely resolve, Dorothea began to formulate a plan, each piece falling into place with a sense of purpose that fueled her determination. She would not be the victim in her own story, allowing Vidal's infidelity to define her worth. No, she would be the architect of her own fate, seizing the opportunity to turn the tables on her unfaithful husband. As the hours ticked by, Dorothea's plan took shape, a carefully orchestrated symphony of revenge that would expose Vidal's betrayal to the world. She enlisted the help of a trusted ally, a homeless man she had befriended on the streets of their neighborhood, his weathered face a testament to the hardships he had endured. "Are you sure about this, Dora?" The homeless man's voice was filled with concern, his eyes searching hers for any sign of doubt. Dorothea met his gaze with a steely resolve, her jaw set in determination. "I'm sure," she replied, her voice unwavering. "It's time to show Vidal that he can't betray me and get away with it." With their plan in motion, Dorothea and her unlikely ally set out to execute their revenge, each step bringing them closer to the moment of reckoning that would expose Vidal's deceit for all to see. But as they ventured into the unknown, Dorothea couldn't shake the nagging sense of uncertainty that gnawed at her insides. Was this truly the right course of action, or would her thirst for revenge only lead to further heartache? As the night wore on, Dorothea's resolve only grew stronger, her determination unyielding in the face of adversity. She would see this through to the end, no matter the cost. For she knew that in the battle for her own happiness, there could be no room for hesitation or doubt. The night was shrouded in darkness as Dorothea and her unlikely ally, the homeless man named Charlie, set out to execute their plan. Each step they took felt like a deliberate march towards destiny, the weight of their mission hanging heavy in the air between them. As they approached the upscale restaurant where Vidal and his mistress were rumored to be dining, Dorothea's heart raced with anticipation. This was her moment of reckoning, her chance to expose Vidal's betrayal to the world and reclaim her dignity in the process. "Are you ready for this, Charlie?" Dorothea's voice was a hushed whisper, her eyes fixed on the dimly lit entrance of the restaurant. Charlie nodded solemnly, his weathered face a mask of determination. "I'm ready, Dora," he replied, his voice tinged with a quiet resolve. "Let's show them what we're made of." With a shared nod, Dorothea and Charlie stepped into the restaurant, their presence commanding the attention of the diners around them. All eyes turned towards them, curiosity and intrigue swirling in the air like a tangible force. Dorothea scanned the room, her heart pounding in her chest as she searched for Vidal and his mistress. And then she saw them, seated at a secluded table in the corner, their heads bent close together in whispered conversation. With a sense of purpose that bordered on desperation, Dorothea marched towards them, her steps echoing in the hushed silence of the restaurant. Every instinct screamed at her to turn back, to flee from the confrontation that lay ahead. But she refused to let fear dictate her actions, not when her dignity hung in the balance. "Vidal." Dorothea's voice cut through the air like a knife, drawing the attention of everyone in the restaurant. "We need to talk." Vidal's eyes widened in shock as he looked up, his expression shifting from surprise to disbelief in the blink of an eye. Beside him, his mistress paled at the sight of Dorothea's determined gaze, her hands trembling with fear. "Dora, what are you doing here?" Vidal's voice was strained, his words tinged with a sense of desperation as he struggled to regain control of the situation. But Dorothea refused to be swayed by his feeble attempts at deflection. "I know about her, Vidal," she continued, her voice steady despite the turmoil raging within her. "I know about the other woman." As the truth of Dorothea's words sank in, a hush fell over the restaurant, the tension in the air thick enough to suffocate. All eyes were on them, waiting with bated breath for the inevitable confrontation that would expose Vidal's deceit to the world. With a heavy heart and a sense of resignation, Dorothea braced herself for the fallout, knowing that her life would never be the same again. But amidst the chaos of her crumbling world, a spark of defiance flickered to life within her, a determination to reclaim her dignity and her sense of self-worth no matter the cost. The tense silence that followed Dorothea's confrontation with Vidal and his mistress hung heavy in the air, suffocating in its intensity. All eyes were fixed on the trio, curiosity and anticipation swirling around them like a tempest. Vidal's face paled as he struggled to find the right words to defend himself, his gaze darting between Dorothea and his trembling mistress. The weight of Dorothea's accusation bore down on him like a leaden weight, crushing the facade of his deception under its relentless pressure. "Dora, please," Vidal's voice cracked with desperation, his hands trembling as he reached out towards her. "It's not what you think. There's a misunderstanding." But Dorothea's resolve remained unshaken, her eyes flashing with a steely determination as she met Vidal's gaze. "I saw the photo, Vidal," she replied, her voice unwavering. "I know the truth." Beside Vidal, his mistress wilted under Dorothea's accusing stare, her facade of innocence crumbling beneath the weight of guilt. Tears welled in her eyes as she struggled to find her voice, the truth of her betrayal hanging in the air like a damning verdict. "I'm sorry, Dora," the mistress whispered, her voice barely audible over the din of the restaurant. "I never meant to hurt you." Dorothea's heart clenched at the sight of the woman's tears, a pang of sympathy piercing through the haze of her anger. But even as she struggled to reconcile the pain of betrayal with the compassion in her heart, Dorothea knew that forgiveness would not come easily, not after the depth of the betrayal she had endured. As the truth of Vidal's infidelity sank in, a hush fell over the restaurant, the weight of their collective gaze bearing down on the trio with a palpable intensity. For a moment, it felt as though time stood still, frozen in the aftermath of revelation as they grappled with the consequences of their actions. And then, with a sense of resignation that bordered on defeat, Dorothea turned on her heel and walked away, her footsteps echoing in the empty space between them. She knew that this was only the beginning of her journey towards healing, a path fraught with uncertainty and pain. But amidst the chaos of her crumbling world, a flicker of hope remained, a beacon of light guiding her towards a future where she could reclaim her sense of self-worth and rebuild her shattered heart. In the aftermath of the explosive confrontation at the restaurant, Dorothea found herself grappling with the harsh reality of her shattered marriage. The weight of Vidal's betrayal hung heavy on her shoulders, a burden she could no longer bear alone. As she retreated to the solitude of her empty home, Dorothea's thoughts swirled with a tumult of emotions, each one more painful than the last. She had known deep down that her marriage was crumbling, but facing the truth of Vidal's infidelity had ripped away the last vestiges of denial. Sitting alone in their dimly lit living room, Dorothea allowed herself to wallow in the depths of her despair, the tears flowing freely down her cheeks as she mourned the loss of the life she had once known. But amidst the chaos of her crumbling world, a flicker of determination ignited within her, a resolve to face reality head-on and rebuild her shattered heart. As the hours stretched into the night, Dorothea found herself reaching out to those closest to her, seeking solace in their comforting embrace. Her friends rallied around her, offering words of encouragement and support as she navigated the treacherous waters of heartbreak. "Stay strong, Dora." Her friend's voice was a beacon of light in the darkness, a reminder that she was not alone in her pain. "You deserve so much better than this." Dorothea nodded, her heart heavy with the weight of her grief. She knew that the road ahead would be long and arduous, filled with twists and turns she could never have anticipated. But she refused to let her pain define her, choosing instead to embrace the uncertainty of the future with courage and resilience. As the first light of dawn broke through the darkness, Dorothea felt a sense of clarity wash over her, a newfound determination to reclaim her sense of self-worth and forge a path towards a brighter tomorrow. For she knew that even in the darkest of times, there was always hope, a glimmer of light shining through the cracks of her broken heart. And with that knowledge firmly in her grasp, Dorothea faced reality with a sense of newfound strength, ready to embrace whatever the future held in store. In the wake of Vidal's infidelity, Dorothea found herself at a crossroads, faced with the daunting task of deciding the fate of her shattered marriage. As she grappled with the painful reality of betrayal, a sense of clarity began to emerge within her, a realization that she could no longer continue to live in denial. Sitting across from her lawyer's desk, Dorothea felt the weight of her decision bearing down on her shoulders, the gravity of her choice echoing in the hushed silence of the room. This was not the future she had envisioned for herself, but she knew that clinging to the remnants of her broken marriage would only prolong her pain. "I think it's time to file for divorce." Dorothea's voice was steady, her words tinged with a quiet resolve as she met her lawyer's gaze. Her lawyer nodded solemnly, his expression reflecting the gravity of the situation. "Are you sure about this, Dorothea?" he asked, his voice filled with empathy. "Divorce is a major decision, and it's important to be certain before moving forward." Dorothea's heart clenched at the weight of his words, the reality of her situation crashing down on her with renewed force. But she refused to waver in her resolve, knowing that she deserved more than the half-hearted apologies and empty promises Vidal had to offer. "I'm sure," she replied, her voice unwavering. "I can't continue to live like this, trapped in a marriage built on lies and deceit. It's time for me to reclaim my dignity and move forward with my life." With a sense of finality settling over them, Dorothea and her lawyer set about the difficult task of navigating the complexities of divorce proceedings. Each step felt like a small victory, a testament to Dorothea's courage and resilience in the face of adversity. As the days turned into weeks, Dorothea found herself slowly coming to terms with the reality of her impending divorce, the weight of her decision lifting from her shoulders with each passing moment. She knew that the road ahead would not be easy, but she refused to let fear dictate her actions, choosing instead to embrace the uncertainty of the future with open arms. And as she signed the final paperwork, sealing the fate of her shattered marriage once and for all, Dorothea felt a sense of liberation wash over her, a newfound freedom born from the ashes of her pain. For she knew that even in the darkest of times, there was always hope for a brighter tomorrow, a chance to rebuild her life on her own terms and forge a path towards a future filled with possibility and promise. As Dorothea embarked on the journey of divorce, she soon found herself entangled in a web of legal battles, each one more grueling than the last. The once amicable separation quickly devolved into a bitter dispute, with Vidal's stubbornness and pride fueling the flames of conflict. Sitting across from Vidal and his lawyer in the stark confines of the courtroom, Dorothea felt the weight of their animosity pressing down on her, the tension in the air thick with unresolved resentment. This was not the ending she had envisioned for her marriage, but she refused to back down in the face of adversity. "We can settle this outside of court, Vidal." Dorothea's voice was strained, her patience wearing thin as she pleaded for reason. "There's no need for things to get ugly." But Vidal's expression remained impassive, his eyes cold and distant as he leveled a steely gaze at her. "I'm not going to let you take everything from me, Dorothea," he replied, his voice laced with thinly veiled hostility. "I'll fight you every step of the way." With a heavy heart, Dorothea realized that there would be no easy resolution to their legal battles, no quick fix to mend the shattered remnants of their broken marriage. The road ahead would be long and arduous, filled with obstacles and challenges she could never have anticipated. As the days turned into weeks, Dorothea found herself consumed by the relentless demands of the legal process, each hearing and deposition draining her of whatever strength she had left. But amidst the chaos of her crumbling world, a flicker of determination ignited within her, a resolve to see this through to the end no matter the cost. "You're doing the right thing." Dorothea, her lawyer's voice was a steady anchor in the storm, a reminder that she was not alone in her fight for justice. "Stay strong, and we'll get through this together." Dorothea nodded, her jaw set in determination as she prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead. She knew that the road to divorce would be fraught with uncertainty and pain, but she refused to let fear dictate her actions. For she knew that even in the darkest of times, there was always hope for a brighter tomorrow, a chance to reclaim her dignity and forge a path towards a future filled with possibility and promise. In the midst of the legal battles and emotional turmoil of her divorce from Vidal, Dorothea embarked on a journey of self-discovery, seeking closure and healing in the aftermath of her shattered marriage. With each passing day, she found herself drawing closer to a sense of peace, a newfound understanding of herself, and the strength that lay within her. As she sat alone in the quiet solitude of her favorite cafe, sipping her coffee and watching the world pass by, Dorothea felt a sense of clarity wash over her, a realization that she was finally ready to let go of the pain and move forward with her life. "It's been a long road, hasn't it?" A familiar voice broke through the silence, drawing Dorothea's gaze to the figure standing beside her table. It was Liz, her friend and confidant, a beacon of light in the darkness of her despair. Dorothea smiled, a genuine warmth spreading across her features as she greeted her friend with a hug. "It certainly has," Dorothea replied, her voice tinged with gratitude. "But I think I'm finally starting to find some closure." Liz nodded in understanding, her eyes reflecting the depth of their shared journey. "You've been through so much, Dora," she said softly, "but you've come out stronger on the other side." With Liz by her side, Dorothea felt a sense of peace settle over her, a reminder that she was not alone in her struggle for healing. Together, they shared stories and memories, laughter and tears, finding solace in each other's company as they navigated the uncertain terrain of recovery. As the sun began to set on the horizon, casting a golden glow over the city streets, Dorothea felt a sense of closure wash over her, a finality to the pain and heartache of her past. For she knew that even in the darkest of times, there was always hope for a brighter tomorrow, a chance to start anew and embrace the possibilities that lay ahead. With Liz by her side, Dorothea embarked on the next chapter of her life with renewed purpose and determination, ready to embrace whatever the future held in store. For she knew that even in the face of adversity, she had the strength and resilience to overcome any obstacle that stood in her way. And with that knowledge firmly in her grasp, Dorothea found the closure she had been searching for, a sense of peace that would guide her forward into the unknown with courage and grace. In the aftermath of her divorce and the tumultuous legal battles that followed, Dorothea embarked on a journey of healing, determined to mend the wounds of her shattered heart and reclaim her sense of self-worth. With each passing day, she found herself drawing closer to a place of inner peace, guided by the unwavering support of those who stood by her side. As she wandered through the quiet streets of her neighborhood, Dorothea felt a sense of tranquility wash over her, a newfound appreciation for the simple joys of life that had once seemed out of reach. With each step she took, she felt the weight of her past burdens lifting from her shoulders, replaced by a sense of lightness and freedom. "It's good to see you smiling again, Dora," a familiar voice broke through the stillness, drawing Dorothea's gaze to the figure standing beside her. It was Charlie, the homeless man she had befriended during her darkest hour, a beacon of light in the darkness of her despair. Dorothea smiled, a genuine warmth spreading across her features as she greeted her unlikely friend with a hug. "I owe you so much, Charlie," Dorothea said softly, her voice filled with gratitude. "You helped me find the strength to keep going when I thought I had nothing left." Charlie shrugged, a modest smile playing at the corners of his lips. "We all need someone to lean on from time to time," he replied. "I'm just glad I could be there for you when you needed it most." With Charlie by her side, Dorothea felt a sense of camaraderie and understanding that she had never experienced before. Together, they shared stories and laughter, finding solace in each other's company as they navigated the uncertain terrain of healing. As the days turned into weeks, Dorothea found herself opening up to new experiences and opportunities, embracing the possibility of a future filled with hope and promise. With each passing moment, she felt the wounds of her past slowly fading into the background, replaced by a sense of resilience and inner strength. And as she looked towards the horizon, bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun, Dorothea knew that she was finally on the path to healing. For she had faced her demons head-on and emerged victorious, ready to embrace whatever the future held in store with courage and grace. And with Charlie by her side, she knew that she would never have to face the challenges of life alone again. As the dawn of a new day broke over the city skyline, Dorothea felt a sense of renewal washing over her, a fresh start beckoning on the horizon. With the weight of her past burdens lifted from her shoulders, she stood on the threshold of a new chapter in her life, ready to embrace the endless possibilities that lay ahead. Stepping out into the crisp morning air, Dorothea felt a surge of excitement coursing through her veins, a sense of anticipation building within her as she embarked on her journey towards a brighter future. With each passing moment, she felt the tendrils of hope weaving their way into her heart, filling her with a sense of optimism and possibility. "It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" A familiar voice broke through the stillness, drawing Dorothea's gaze to the figure standing beside her. It was Liz, her friend and confidant, a constant source of support and encouragement throughout her journey of healing. Dorothea smiled, a genuine warmth spreading across her features as she greeted her friend with a hug. "It certainly is," Dorothea replied, her voice filled with gratitude. "I feel like anything is possible today." Liz nodded in agreement, her eyes reflecting the depth of their shared journey. "You've come so far, Dora," she said softly. "I have no doubt that amazing things are in store for you." With Liz by her side, Dorothea felt a sense of confidence and empowerment that she had never experienced before. Together, they shared stories and dreams, laughter and tears, finding solace in each other's company as they navigated the uncertain terrain of new beginnings. As the day unfolded before them, Dorothea found herself opening up to new experiences and opportunities, embracing the possibility of a future filled with hope and promise. With each passing moment, she felt the tendrils of possibility weaving their way into her heart, propelling her forward towards a destiny she had only dared to dream of. And as she looked towards the horizon, Bathed in the warm glow of the morning sun, Dorothea knew that she was ready to seize the day and make her mark on the world. For she had faced her fears and emerged victorious, ready to embrace whatever the future held in store with courage and grace. And with Liz by her side, she knew that she would never have to face the challenges of life alone again. With each passing day, Dorothea found herself navigating the delicate process of rebuilding trust in herself and in others. The scars of her past still lingered, a constant reminder of the pain she had endured, but she refused to let them define her future. With courage and determination, she embarked on a journey of self-discovery, determined to forge meaningful connections and rebuild the foundation of trust that had been shattered by betrayal. As she sat across from her new friend Rosalia in a cozy cafe, Dorothea felt a sense of camaraderie and understanding that she had never experienced before. Rosalia had been through her own share of heartache and disappointment, and their shared experiences bonded them in a way that felt both comforting and empowering. "I never thought I'd find someone I could trust again after everything that happened," Dorothea admitted, her voice tinged with vulnerability. "But being with you makes me believe that it's possible." Rosalia smiled, a warmth spreading across her features as she reached out to squeeze Dorothea's hand. "Trust takes time to build, Dora," she replied softly. "But with patience and understanding, anything is possible." With Rosalia's words echoing in her mind, Dorothea felt a sense of hope stirring within her, a newfound belief in the power of resilience and forgiveness. Together, they shared stories and dreams, laughter and tears, finding solace in each other's company as they navigated the uncertain terrain of building trust. As the days turned into weeks, Dorothea found herself opening up to new experiences and opportunities, embracing the possibility of a future filled with genuine connections and meaningful relationships. With each passing moment, she felt the tendrils of trust weaving their way into her heart, anchoring her to a sense of belonging and acceptance that she had longed for. And as she looked towards the future, bathed in the warm glow of possibility, Dorothea knew that she was ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. For she had faced her fears and emerged stronger than ever, ready to rebuild the foundation of trust that had been shattered by betrayal. And with Rosalia by her side, she knew that she would never have to face the journey alone again. In the gentle embrace of a new dawn, Dorothea felt the stirrings of a profound transformation taking root within her. With each passing day, she found herself shedding the weight of her past and stepping boldly into the boundless possibilities of the future. It was a journey of self-discovery and empowerment, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. As she stood on the threshold of a new chapter in her life, Dorothea felt a sense of liberation wash over her, a freedom born from the depths of her own courage and determination. With each step she took, she felt the shackles of her past falling away, replaced by a newfound sense of purpose and possibility. "You look radiant, Dora," Liz remarked, her eyes sparkling with admiration as she greeted her friend with a warm embrace. Dorothea smiled, a genuine warmth spreading across her features as she returned the embrace. "I feel like a weight has been lifted from my shoulders," she confessed. "I'm finally ready to move forward with my life." Liz nodded in understanding, her expression reflecting the depth of their shared journey. "You've come a long way, Dora," she said softly, "and I have no doubt that amazing things are in store for you." With Liz by her side, Dorothea felt a sense of confidence and empowerment that she had never experienced before. Together, they shared stories and dreams, laughter and tears, finding solace in each other's company as they navigated the uncertain terrain of moving forward. As the days turned into weeks, Dorothea found herself embracing new experiences and opportunities with a sense of optimism and enthusiasm that bordered on infectious. With each passing moment, she felt the tendrils of possibility weaving their way into her heart, propelling her forward towards a destiny she had only dared to dream of. And as she looked towards the future, bathed in the warm glow of the morning sun, Dorothea knew that she was ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead, for she had faced her fears and emerged stronger than ever, ready to seize the day and make her mark on the world. And with Liz by her side, she knew that she would never have to face the journey alone again. In the quiet moments of reflection, Dorothea found herself embracing the profound sense of joy and contentment that had eluded her for so long. With each passing day, she discovered that happiness was not a destination, but rather a journey of self-discovery and acceptance. It was a journey that led her to unexpected places and introduced her to new experiences that filled her heart with a sense of fulfillment and purpose. As she sat in the park, basking in the warm glow of the afternoon sun, Dorothea felt a sense of peace settle over her, a serenity born from the depths of her own inner strength and resilience. With each breath she took, she felt the burdens of her past slipping away, replaced by a newfound sense of freedom and possibility. "It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" A familiar voice broke through the silence, drawing Dorothea's gaze to the figure standing beside her. It was Charlie, her friend and confidant, a constant source of light and laughter in her life. Dorothea smiled, a genuine warmth spreading across her features as she greeted him with a hug. "It certainly is," Dorothea replied, her voice filled with gratitude, "and I couldn't be happier to share it with you." Charlie grinned, a twinkle in his eyes as he settled down on the bench beside her. "You know, Dora, I've never seen you look so at peace with yourself," he remarked. "It's like you found your place in the world." Dorothea nodded, her heart swelling with emotion at his words. "I think I finally have," she admitted, "and it's all thanks to the people who have supported me along the way." With Charlie by her side, Dorothea felt a sense of connection and belonging that she had never experienced before. Together, they shared stories and laughter, dreams and aspirations, finding solace in each other's company as they navigated the winding road of life. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the city streets, Dorothea felt a sense of gratitude wash over her, a deep appreciation for the journey that had brought her to this moment. For she knew that even in the darkest of times, there was always a glimmer of hope waiting to be discovered, a chance for happiness to bloom in the most unexpected of places. And as she looked towards the future, bathed in the warm embrace of friendship and love, Dorothea knew that she had finally found the happiness she had been searching for all along. For she had faced her fears and emerged victorious, ready to embrace whatever adventures lay ahead with courage and grace. And with Charlie by her side, she knew that she would never have to face the journey alone again.